It is championship season for NCAA gymnastics. I am Brandis Heffner with Billman from College Gym News, and we are going to run you through a preview of the top teams and individual event contenders to watch for this weekend as we figure out our national champions. Claire, who are we looking for to advance to that four on the floor final in addition to Oklahoma? They've obviously been the runaway team this year, so dominant. It's no doubt that they're going to be there, right?
I think that is about as sure of a thing as you can get in gymnastics. Let's back up just a little bit because there are two semifinals. So the first semifinal is going to feature LSU, Arkansas, Cal, and Stanford. And those are all a bunch of upstart teams who've never won a championship before. And then in the other bracket, you've got Oklahoma, Florida, Utah, and Alabama, all of whom have won multiple championships. So it's going to be interesting. We're going to have some newbies in there regardless of the outcome. I know Cal has never made the final before. I know Arkansas has never made the final before. I believe Stanford did under the previous Super Six format, but
They've been
so
as high as third before.
right. Yeah. You're the Pac-12 editor of this. Why am I? Yeah. Do your job for you. So in the first semifinal, LSU and Cal are the front runners to advance out of that, and they've got a pretty strong statistical advantage over Arkansas and Stanford. But hey, you know what? Stranger things have happened. And then in the second, Oklahoma, assuming they go through, it's really anyone's guess who goes for that second spot. Utah and Florida have the edge over Alabama, but the Crimson Tide has been coming on hot, and they have beaten Florida head to head twice this season. So who knows?
This powerhouse semifinal versus this newbie semifinal is going to be so exciting to watch. I cannot wait to see who makes the final.
It's going to be great.
Yeah, once we get to the final, what should we be watching for there?
If Oklahoma, by any chance, opens the door, look for teams like Cal or LSU to capitalize. Those are the only two teams this season who have consistently put up scores that could challenge the Sooners. They will need some help. If the Sooners are on, the Sooners are on. And I mean, this is one of the best rosters of all time. This is kind of like that mid 90s era Chicago Bulls with Jordan, Rodman, and Pippen. Like there's no stopping that team when they're having a good day. But they're human. They can have an off day. And if they do, watch out for the Golden Bears and the Tigers to come pouncing.
Absolutely. It's hard to stop that dynasty status that it seems like the Sooners are inevitably moving towards. But Cal and LSU have some of the top all-arounders this year, which should factor into that individual event title race as well.
This is a wide open race. Usually there's been a clear front runner. This year, not so much. Haley Bryant is certainly the favorite, with Jordan Bowers hot on her heels. They are the 1 and 2. They're neck and neck in the rankings. But then you've also got folks like Jade Carey, who's an individual qualifier, MJ Frazier and Maya Lozon from Cal, who are both just phenomenal and having their best seasons yet. You've also got a bunch of teammates of Bowers from Oklahoma. They've been really leaning on their all-arounders this year. So Kat Lavasser, Faith Torres, even Audrey Davis, if they decide to put her in the all-around, she's capable of going, over 39.6. And then, of course, Leanne Wong and Anya Pilgrim from Florida. They're both having excellent seasons and can certainly hang with any of the above.
Yeah, there's no doubt it's going to be a super tight race up there at the top with so many girls consistently going over that 39.6, 39.7 barrier this year, and even a handful hitting those 39.9s, which is just absolutely bonkers. And then with these all-arounders, we also have a couple girls on Gym Slam watch.
Yeah.
So if you're new to the sport, Gym Slam is when you get a perfect 10 on every single event. Only 15 girls in NCAA history have done so, which we have a couple in this meet, like Haley Bryant, Leanne Wong, and Jade Carey. But we've got Jordan Bowers and Luisa Blanco, who are just one event away from doing so with as good a shot as ever to do.
Right. Bowers has gotten as high as a 9.975 on beam this year. That's the only event she's lacking. She almost got a perfect 40 a few weeks ago at Big 12. She did the hat trick, which only she and Haley Bryant have done that in the modern era. So she's certainly capable of doing that if she has the routine of her life. And then Blanco, surprisingly, has not had a 10 on bars. She's had a
Her
national
best event.
title, but yeah, that's her best event. That's where she qualified as an individual last year. So again, she's had a 9975, so she's certainly capable of getting that final little quarter tenth.
Going to be so close. And then, what better stage to do so at the national championship when scores are flying? You've got your
Right?
teammates competing at their best to set you up. So definitely some routines to keep your eyes out for. And then, not to sound like a broken record, but we have to bring up Haley Bryant again when we move over to talking about the vault contenders, because it's a tight race in the all around standings, but vault might be a runaway if she can glue her feet to the ground.
It is hers to lose. If she sticks, she's going to win. Now, somebody else might tie her. That's certainly plausible, but if she's on, she's going to get a perfect 10. And it's going to be a deserved perfect 10. There's really not room to equivocate. So it'll be
She's got
interesting.
more height than everybody, so much more
Uh,
power than everybody.
and she's also the last of that front handspring pike half crew still standing. So we'll see a ton of Yurchenko 1.5s and Haley Bryant's front handspring pike half. So
And then of the Yurchenko 1.5s, which ones are you trying to keep an eye out on to, maybe pull that tie, maybe pull that upset if the doors open a little bit?
I mean, I can't say enough about Kat Lavasser and Sierra Brooks. They have the best technique of the field. If they stick, they're kind of the same as Bryant. If they stick, they're gonna get a 10, or they should get a 10. The problem is their landings aren't nearly as consistent as Bryant's. So there is a good bit of wiggle room, but they're gamers, and I wouldn't be at all surprised if they're able to turn it on, especially Brooks. She's a 5th year, she's qualified as an individual on vault and floor, but this is where she could really make some waves and go out with a bang, really cap off her legendary career.
And then on the dark horse side, I think you can't forget about Maya Hooten. She's got a really dynamic vault that, she's not here on floor. She's our floor standout. So she's got to take her title somewhere. And then also Jaden Rucker from Utah is the 2021 national champion on vault. Her landings are a little bit inconsistent at times, but when she sticks, it's as good as anybody's.
She's another one of those. She's a gamer. She turns it on for the postseason. And yeah, so don't count her out either.
Moving over to bars, we've got a pair of Sooners that are kind of leading the way when it comes to national title favorites here, and Jordan Bowers, and then I think the people's champion, Audrey Davis.
That's the perfect name for the 9975 queen, Audrey Davis.
Yes.
Yeah, those two just have impeccable form, and two of the best piked Jaegers in the game. Again, it comes down to landing so often on bars, and they very rarely miss. So they're going to be setting the pace. And if anybody wants to catch them, they're not only going to have to stick that landing, but they're going to have to be perfect throughout. They're going to have to hit every position. There's not going to be any wiggle room for close catches or leg separations, because that is not going to happen with Bowers and Davis.
Yeah, they rarely ever open the door for anybody to sneak in there, but they are competing in that really stacked semifinal that also just happens to be loaded with bars talent, because you've also got like Mara Tatar Soleil and Jade Carey and, Leanne Wong competing in that session as well, who could also get up there on a good day.
And don't forget, and then Lily Smith is in the first session.
Gosh.
So there are plenty of upstarts who could, rock the boat a little bit. I'm gunning for Mara. Mara from Mizzou. So her mom is flying in from the Netherlands to watch this meet, and tends to be her lucky charm. She got a 10 for her mom at one point. So yeah, keep an eye out. That could be the difference maker, having mom here.
That would be an awesome parallel to make. Who wouldn't want to, fly mom in from overseas and get a 10 at nationals to win a title? That would be the perfect story. And a perfect 10 is what we have to see to win the beam title, as Reagan Smith and Miley O'Keefe rarely don't get 10s, and they're both going to be at nationals fighting for this beam title.
Yep. And I mean, O'Keefe in particular, she has proven she can get 10s at nationals. She got 2.
She only got 10s at nationals last year on beam.
So the judges have shown that they are willing to throw them on beam and throw them for O'Keefe. And then you've got Smith, who's gotten 6, 7 in a row this season, and it's going to be a hot race. And
Oh, absolutely. And then you have some other fun contenders too, like Connor McLean battling with Lily Smith for freshman of the year, which one could grab a title? Lily Smith on bars or McLean on beam.
right.
Maya Lazan out of Cal and her back-breaking mount sequence are
Oh my
always
God.
in the conversation. And you can't forget the setup girls, Faith Torres from Oklahoma and Abby Paulson from Utah, who have also scored very highly all season.
They're both capable of perfection. And then you've got some dark horses like Ava Zickfeld from Oklahoma, who's competed a handful of times. She got a 10 on her very first beam routine this year. So can't count out, really, you can't count out. Oh, and then Chloe Widener from Stanford. I can't believe I almost forgot about her because she has gotten a 10 on beam this year and is just absolutely lovely. And, you know, Stanford is just kind of going for broke here. They broke seed to get here. They weren't even seeded. They upset a lot of folks to get here. And so
Yeah.
look for them to make, and especially Widener, to make the most of that opportunity.
Oh, absolutely. I had the pleasure of watching Stanford make those upsets to advance to nationals from Berkeley. And just the energy surrounding Widener is immense. You know, she anchors that beam lineup and that floor lineup and is able to bring in these huge scores that are able to pull off these upsets. And I think that's what's got her in contention as a dark horse on floor as well. She got a 10 at regionals to, you know, pull off the walk-off win when she only needed like a 9.875 or something.
Right.
You know, going the extra mile, really just hitting all those marks and putting herself and her team in a great position.
Well, and this is where the numbers don't tell the whole story, because this Stanford team, you know, they had a sluggish start and they've just been ramping up. And Widener in particular, like, she can go score for score with any gymnast in this field. So she's definitely one to watch. I think, I gotta say though, I think the reigning gold medalist is the obvious pick for champion here, especially if she does her full difficulty like she's been doing recently. She's gotten 2 10s in a row, competing a full twisting double layout, which is just obscene. You don't see that on the elite circuit, let alone college.
Yeah.
And when you do see it in elite, you don't see them as clean and as well controlled as carries. So if she does her full difficulty and does just her usual, I think she's the one to beat. Nipping at her heels is Raina Worley from Kentucky, who's here as an individual qualifier. She's been remarkably consistent this season and has gotten herself broken through and gotten herself a number of 10s this season, as well as Gabby Wilson from Michigan. Wilson's here as an all-arounder, but I think floor is where she's got her best shot at the podium.
No doubt about that. And then you also have names like Aaliyah Finnegan, who's gone 10 this year. She just has some supremely clean and powerful tumbling in her routine.
Right.
Same with Jay Campbell from UCLA, known for their famous floor party. That will be represented by her at nationals. There are just so many names in this deep, deep floor field that I'm excited to watch duke it out for this title.
Yeah, this is, I gotta say, maybe I'm biased, but this is one of the best years we've had in a long time, because we don't know what's going to happen. Usually we have an idea of what to expect. This is such a wide field. Anything can happen this year. So
right. The team race may be a little bit predictable, but these individual event titles are going to be such a pleasure and a joy to watch.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for watching us preview these individual national title contenders and the team contenders. And we're excited for the season to wrap up this weekend in Fort Worth.